Good day. Thank you for joining us for another edition, a special one on the program Newsroom. Campaigns enter day 8 today. That is the second and last week of the campaigns ahead of the October 7 presidential elections. The president of the Cameroon's People Democratic Movement, the CPDM party, who doubles as the president of the Republic of Cameroon, is expected in the town of Marwa, far north region of the country. Today, President Paul Biya and the wife, accompanied by militants of the CPDM party, will be carrying out campaigns in the far north region of the country. In this very edition of the program Newsroom, we shall be finding out why the president have chosen the far north region of the country to officially launch his own campaigns. Equally, opposition politicians are equally questioning why the president of the country and the CPDM candidate have taken all of the space to post his posters around the country. We shall be analyzing that. This is happening when 7 persons have been shot dead. That is in Buea this week, with politicians saying nothing to condemn that. There is a concern about who will vote for them on the 7th of October. This is Newsroom on Canal English. I am Dominique Mememwakimo. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We get our headlines for this edition of the program Newsroom, put together by Gladys Ambo.
Today clocks 1 week since the start of official campaigns in Cameroon ahead of the October 7th elections. 8 candidates have been on the field campaigning, but President Paul Biya is counting on the activities of his militants. Same pundit think after 36 years in power, the incumbent president masters the election rigging machinery in Cameroon to a point that campaigning is of no use today. What is the reaction of politicians 1 week into the official campaigns? What is the role of the administrators in campaign and election process in Cameroon? Many observers think governors, SDOs and divisional officers have all been working for the ruling party under the watchful eyes of Elections Cameroon, ELECAM. Many think the political playing ground is not level, with many advantages given to the CPDM party as compared to other opposition political parties. 14 Cameroonian girls making a distress call from Kuwait for repatriation. The girls say they are treated as animals and slaves by their masters. Due to an overwhelming unemployment rate in Cameroon, they set out for greener pastures abroad, but unfortunately, they have lost everything, including their dignity as human beings. This is Newsroom on Canal 2 English, trusted for information flow and analysis.
So much, Gladys Ambo. We start by receiving our guest for the program Newsroom. We receive Prophet Chris Vowezi. You are a pastor of a church in the city of Douala. Thank you for coming, for accepting our invitation.
Thank you very much, Dominique, and I am highly excited to be here because we want to see how to build this nation, and my contribution, I'm sure, is going to go a long way to make things better and positive.
Thank you for coming. Candidate Ndifo Franklin Afami has been pulling the crowd in the towns and the cities in the country, equally villages, in order to canvass for votes for ahead of the October 7 presidential elections. Many people think this is contrary to what they expected, that a man of God will not pull this crowd on the field. What's your take on that?
You know, they have always underestimated men of God, and people think that the place for a man of God is within the four walls of a church, not knowing that we are illuminants in the society. We are in the society to enlighten people. We preach the truth to people, and as such, we don't need to just stay within the four walls of the church. We need to go out and be able to build, to make this nation a better place. So people have already discovered that that is a man, that the hope of this nation is in him. So people have understood that, and they are rallying behind him to get his program, and they are also attached to that program. So he's a man who actually will bring the change that Cameroonians have been crying and longing for. Talking of my candidate, Prophet Franklin Afanui.
Thank you so much for coming. Let's welcome D4 Richard. You are a militant of the Social Democratic Front, SDF, and your candidate is candidate Joshua Osi. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here today to talk about one of the greatest candidates of our time. It's an opportunity for me to sell this individual who is one candidate who has a clear program as to how to rebuild Cameroon and from the shackles that it has been taken to for 36 years.
The candidate has been on the field for 1 week today campaigning, but many people have been questioning what explains the absence of some key militants of the Social Democratic Front like Honorable Bandam, Honorable Joseph Banazen. What are they we can find on the field campaigning? Well,
they are doing the job behind the scene. You understand that our candidate is getting into places where the media doesn't get there because of the bad road. We have been crisscrossing the country, going into very remote areas to meet the voters and to feel the pains they are feeling in wherever they are. And it has been very difficult even for the media to follow them right to those very interior places. And so most often it will be difficult for people to see the individuals that are following our candidate.
Thank you so much for coming. Let's receive Barrister Michelle Ndoki. You are the Vice President of the Women's Wing of the MRC Party of Professor Maurice Kamto. Thank you for coming, Barrister.
Thank you for inviting me. I would say it in English, CRM Party.
CRM Party Movement. Yeah.
Thank you for welcoming us in your humble nice houses.
Thank you so much. Saturday the 22nd of September, when campaigns were launched in the country Cameroon, the president of the CRM party, Professor Maurice Kamto, was in Bonaberi at the Douala 4 municipality to launch campaigns. Yes. But there was a little squabble between the militants of the CRM party and the divisional officer for Douala 4 municipality, saying that the place where the campaign was supposed to take place was not appropriate for campaigns. How did you finally resolve the issue?
We resolved it by staying where we were, but I want to correct something. It was not about the sub-divisional officer not being okay with the place that we chose. It was about the authorities probably thinking they were working for the CPDM, trying to preventing us from organizing our meeting in Bonaberi, wherever the place. Because we started a week before, as you could imagine, by announcing to the authorities, as we have to do under the law, that we will be organizing it in the Lycée Bilingue de Bonaberi, and we received an agreement for that. And on the Friday, the person in charge of the can't find that word.
The venue where you were supposed to.
Officer of Lycée Technique.
Principal.
The principal.
Yep.
Yes. Thank
Principal.
you. Sometimes I forget
it's not the problem.
simple words.
So
the principal of the Lycée Bilingue announced that finally she could not have us in the premises.
Okay.
That's the reason why we said, okay, we will stay in front of the premises. And then we had the police on the sub-divisional officer and the gendarmerie on the eve, on the Friday evening, saying that we could not do that day either. Which means if you have tens of thousands of people that you have announced will be coming to listen to you because you're launching your campaign. Of course, these efforts are meant to discourage those people from coming. And we had a lot of gendarmerie people and police people around to scare people away from that place. Finally, we decided we were not going to back off, because if you back off in that kind of occasion, then why do you say you can handle the situation, for example, in Northwest and in the Southwest, which requires a bit of courage? So we decided we were going to stay there and see what happened. And finally, the people joined us in that movement, and we had our meeting there. I think it's not the only incident. When we continued, the incumbent went to Kribi after that and discovered that the CPDM, after he had decided that he would hold the meeting at that place, the CPDM came behind and came out in the night to occupy the place. In another place in Edea, we were at the very last minute prevented from the subdivisional officer said, you are not authorized anymore to
Means you have been recurrent as far as...
It's been consistent.
Okay.
The incumbent Maurice Kamto organized roughly 70 meetings in the past 4 weeks. Okay, and many of those meetings were...
So the meeting, the political rally in Bonaberi was a success?
We were disappointed that we could not talk to as many Cameroonians as possible,
okay,
because the police will stay on the way.
But the police too, they equally listen to the campaign speech of the CRN candidate.
Which is a good thing, but it's something for all the Cameroonians, you know. It's not just something for them. If they wanted the meeting just for them, let them invite us and we'll be happy to join them anyway.
Thank you so much for coming. Time for us to welcome Apollinaire Kemenge. I guess I pronounced your name correctly. You are the president of the Cameroon Youth Patriotism, a political party created in 2008. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Dominic, to give me an occasion to speak on the CANAL to English.
Thank you so much. You are the principal actor who trained policemen of the police force in Cameroon. That was in 2008 on how to fight cyber criminality. 10 years down the lane, how do you evaluate their effort in fighting cyber criminality in Cameroon today?
First of all, I have to say that my colleague of politics have been fighting many years, the struggles, Ali Aji, that I greet him, he was abroad many years. Also Camille Kindi, that I greet them, those guys that they are always in the ground to fight that the state to have 100% in this election. Also my friend, colleague, and Colonel Voudi, that I greet him very well.
Let's get to
my friend, then I come about the story because I want to get...
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time.
Coming about these things about my patriotism job, I think that what I was doing those days is to bring the Cameroonian police forces to have a new ideology about the technology. Because when I was abroad many years living in Europe, I saw that Europe was developed. It will have some technology, how to crack down criminality. So I say, why? Why can't I bring back in Africa to show my country that I can save my country? And all those things I did not have any front. I do live freely in my Institute of Technology because I have my Institute of Technology. I say, why? If I give them free vocational training, it should be good to my country to prove that we can save our country without what the country can do for us. When I see to the many youth, everybody make challenge, said I want to be president. I ask myself, what have you done to your country to say you can be a president?
Let's come back to the question I asked you. How do you evaluate the fight against cyber criminality today, given that you trained several policemen since 2008 on how to fight cyber criminality? Are they doing their job correctly?
I think that insufficient maybe materials in the police officers. So you saw it many times when you are going to the office. You don't have a good equipment to have a good training to know that they can track down many people that have been doing fake things in internet, all those things. And which means that it's the government to bring support to what have been done to the police, to equip the police forces, not only police forces, gendarmerie and military, that they should have a technology. They cannot be in the working without infrastructure. It's infrastructure make the police to be handwork. If it's not, I think that the job what I've been doing training is useless. That's why I can say it.
Thank you
Talking
so
about
much.
the politics that we have been talking about, the campaign, about those that are starting from this week.
We'll get into that. Time for us to welcome Barrister Achuri Julius. You are a lawyer and a militant of the CPDM party. Once again, thank you for accepting our invitation.
The pleasure is mine. I'm always happy being here.
We're happy receiving you. The president of your party, President Paul Biya, and equally the president of Cameroon, is expected today in Marwa, in the far north region of the country, to officially launch campaigns there in person, despite the fact that militants of the CPDM party has been on the field since the 22nd of September to campaign for him. What explains the choice of Marwa for the president of the country to launch his campaign?
You know, Cameroonians have been dying to see him ever since, because everybody's worried that why is that all other candidates are out there not seeing him? You know, my president he takes his time and does things the right way. He had to come out first with a manifesto, which I have here, to tell Cameroonians what he's up to and what he's about doing. And then, you know, when he starts his campaign in Marwa, it's because he has to start coming down from there right to the last region of the country. He's going to go around the country. And you know, for security reasons too, he doubles as the president of the republic. So all those things have to be taken into consideration before he moves. But you should know that he's a man of the people and he has to go to his people. That's why he's in Marwa today.
Given that you are coming from the party, are we expected to see the president in Bamenda or Buea?
Of course, hold your patience. His program is going to be unfold as time goes on. As I told you, know there are security issues in this country, and as he doubles as the president of the republic, he has to be taken care of in a particular way. He cannot be doing campaigns like the others because he's still president of the country. So in that double capacity, you have to be very careful the way those things are being handled. And you should know that our party is a party that doesn't talk about other people. We manage our problems gently, calmly, and maturely. You will never see somebody say MRC or SDF has done this to civilian. We manage it. So I'm calling all candidates that if you have little problems, show maturity by managing those problems rather than complaining about other parties. So it's a message which I think we should share to get maturity in politics. If you cannot manage small problems during a campaign, how can you manage that with those of the country? It is not on the air that you come and complain about it. We should learn to manage our problems when they come.
Thank you so much for coming. Thanks all of you gentlemen and ladies. Time for us to get what the newspapers have been writing about this week. Let's get it from Maureen.
9 political parties in Cameroon on the field campaigning ahead of October 7 elections. The information dominates all daily and weekly newspapers in Cameroon. La Nouvelle Expression newspaper presents a rundown of campaign activities of candidates. To the paper, Maurice Kamto of MRC and Cabral Libi of Parti Univers have same psychological advantage given the positive response from the population. The paper recounts how the candidates have been pulling enough crowd in major cities of Cameroon to listen to their campaign messages. Le Detective newspaper thinks that the opposition is instead preparing the eventual re-election of incumbent President Paul Biya. To the paper, the absence of a real coalition of the opposition is a weakness the CPDM is exploiting for its favor. Media Free newspaper says Peter Mafani Musonge and Philemon Yang attempt to find the orders of Amber Boys in the southwest and northwest respectively. PM Yang launches campaign in Bamenda, while Musonge did same in Buea. The paper concludes that Paul Biya is expected in Marwa on Saturday, September 29, to campaign for re-election. The announcement comes when Algi Sahel has already observed a timid campaign in the 3 northern regions of Cameroon. Rumor kills Maxime Nyajifenji in Geneva, Switzerland. Informate newspaper Thursday edition denounced social media claims that the president of the Senate died in Switzerland. To Le Messager, 85-year-old Nyat has been evacuated for medical attention. The paper equally writes that rumors have destabilized Elekam. The paper explains that Elekam has denounced earlier information of no use of mobile phones in polling stations on day of voting. The mayor of Buea at the center of a shooting scene at Sawa Hotel in Douala. La Nouvelle Expression explained how the bodyguard of Ekema Patrick Esunge was caught with guns around the hotel in Bonanjo on Monday. No shooting in Womb prison, but restoration forces succeeded to free 117 prisoners. La Nouvelle Expression writes that the incident happened in the night, Wednesday. Where is the 12 billion franc CFA contributed to assist Anglophones running away from conflict? Arapli's newspaper questions why Paul Atanganji, Minister of Territorial Administration, has not given an official statement on the use of the money.
Much Morinti for putting together what the newspapers have been writing about this week. Let's pick up from there. You mentioned that Oroplus newspaper is questioning why the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, has not given official statistics of the 12 billion contributed by Cameroonians to assist internally displaced persons due to the Anglophone crisis. Barrister Michel Joki, let me find out from you. Is a political party bothered about the non-publication of statistics about the contributions made to assist persons internally displaced in the northwest and the southwest by the Minister of Territorial Administration?
I'm sorry, I will have to surprise you, Dominic, because the first thing that I would like to talk about is something that bothers me, and this is to understand who Mr. Kemenye is representing here about among the incumbents for the coming elections. My understanding is we're here to discuss the elections, the current elections. We have each of us representing one candidate, and I'm still curious to understand if Mr. Kemenye is representing one.
Yes.
I understand that, but this political party has
in the course of the program, you'll be telling us which political party is here.
I think it will be fair
because the president is not going in. You as the president of that political party, you are not going in for campaigns.
Yes,
and you tell us who you are supporting in the course of the program.
Exactly.
Is it that you are waiting for us to disclose our program for the campaign before you can
tell us who your candidate is?
Who's the anchor of this now? If you're the anchor, I understand.
That's the reason I'm asking, because I need to understand whether we are.
We're not a class here.
Are you bothered about the non-publication of statistics of the 12 billion francs contributed to assist internally displaced persons in Cameroon?
And the response, the answer to your question, sir, is that I need to understand who I'm talking with before I can debate. That is the reason why I think
Yes, you have right. Yes, you have right.
I can't question an invitee of a TV station.
President of the party.
Yes.
We're not happy about it. At least
What he is, I think
we have a forum to discuss the party. We're discussing what
the
person.
political party that are not
exactly,
supporting
yes.
any candidate in the course of these elections. Please.
Usually, if you don't like it.
Can we go ahead?
We shouldn't do this.
Mr.
We shouldn't be
Mimi,
arrogant.
we started this program by introducing ourselves. And we started by saying each of us who we are standing for in this program.
Barrister, I will go back to her. I will come back to him.
And
I will come back to him to tell us
you
the
want me
political party
to talk. Let me talk. Let me land. There's no way I will have to land eventually. So it is fair and paying respect to our viewers for us to understand when you introduce yourself in which capacity you are saying. If you are saying to us he's staying here and he will not talk about any candidate and he's not here to talk about the elections, fair enough. I'm not the one to decide what the program is about. If it is about him saying to us in the course of the program who is supporting, then that will create an imbalance that I don't have.
Barrister,
encourage
with all respect,
and support.
With all respect,
So
I still remain the presenter.
Of course, and I still remain the invitee.
I know, I respect.
And I know what I was invited to, and I need to understand if it is not a trap I was invited to. If I have 2 supporters of Paul Biya here, then I consider it as a trap, and I would leave.
Barrister, we invited him like an independent observer with a political party which is not supporting any other political. Can we go?
This is dictatorship. This is dictatorship.
Please,
Is that how people run this country?
Yes, say it about
You see, the CPDM is always very comfortable with inequality.
Please,
It is still dictatorship.
Very comfortable.
please, let's maintain some silence here.
Why this document is scaring everybody?
Concern about the statistics of the 12 billion that Cameroon contributed in order to assist internally displaced persons from the northwest and the southwest.
We are concerned that the sensitivity and sense of solidarity of our fellow compatriots has been once more abused. Yes, we are concerned. We were not really optimistic about the use of this money from the first, and I think I had the opportunity at that time to express our concerns, and Professor Komto had the opportunity to express the concerns. Now things just unfolded the way we were afraid they would unfold. And yes, we are concerned because those who contributed for 2 reasons. Either because they felt they were forced to, and this is injustice, and this has to be ended at a point of time, and that is what we CRMI are about, or because they felt it was a good cause and then they've been cheated, and this is not acceptable. So yes, we are concerned. Sadly, we cannot say we are surprised.
You're not surprised?
No, we are not. I hope I've not petrified you with my first question.
Let me find out from the Social Democratic Front. Many people say the money instead is being used to finance the campaigns of the CPDM party. What's the take of the Social Democratic Front on that?
Well, we cannot categorically state that because we don't have details on that, but we can comfortably question the use of the money because we saw how much money was raised, and like she said, from the onset, the manner in which the whole thing was arranged, it was a whole affair of CPDM elite. CPDM elite were the only people with the complicity of the administration, which of course is also part of the CPDM. And that is how this whole arrangement of this humanitarian fund was done. And everybody can see in the field that we are not seeing concretely what this money has been used for. Instead, we can conspicuously see campaigns, gadgets, and all sort of things everywhere in every nooks and crannies of the country, but we cannot be able to visibly find out what this. There are a few spots where they went to a few spots here and there and did some few donations and portrayed them on camera. Apart from that, we have not seen some concrete action that has been taken as a result of this humanitarian or as an implementation of the humanitarian fund.
Pastor Chris, many people think that after the announcement of the 12 billion assistance funds, so many thousand people have left the northwest and the southwest, and they are expecting to see the Minister of Territorial Administration go out to present gifts to these people. But they are not saying that.
The truth is that, when you have people who are in leadership who are skillful in manipulating people, you could always have things turning out like that. When we say force of experience, the question that comes is experience of what? Because when you are a thief,
talk about some other person,
you have been stealing for many years, and you say you have experience, means you have experience in stealing. You can have experience in different you can go to any direction. For what I want to say about that money is that it was just a way to manipulate the people and get some money from people and use for their selfish reasons. Because when they were asking this money, it's not that they really feel for the people who are suffering. Because if they were feeling for the people who are suffering, they would have done everything to stop the disaster from getting to the magnitude to which it got to. They didn't ask the money because they care about that common man. They have a reason. They have an objective. They want to use the money to maintain themselves in power. So I can tell you clearly that if even if you want to analyze it carefully, you will see that some of that money is being used for campaigns.
Barrister Achu of the CPDM party, how do you react to that?
First and foremost, once you have a ripe pear, a nice pear tree that bears good fruits, everybody has a tendency of shooting at it. I realize that all other parties always like citing CPDM when their own campaigns. We some campaign for me, but that is them.
The party have been this.
I understand.
The one who started this.
I understand.
Saying that, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you are the one who started it by saying that he's president at the same time. So you should expect us to draw attention on
He's the president of the republic.
I'm talking about CPDM. I've never called the name president, and so you've not misunderstood what I'm saying. But that notwithstanding, these monies were contributed by certain persons. So they are supposed to be the ones, the accountants of that. Nobody on this, no party on this table, a part of CBM, contributed to that fund. So I don't see why those who decided not to contribute are so crushed, are so worried about the money.
No, the money was
that money is public fund.
Please, the money maybe we maintain some camp here. The money was contributed by Cameroonians. It was not contributed by militants of the CPDM.
That's what I want to tell you, that those who contributed know what's going to happen with the money. Those who have never contributed will never know in any case. That's notwithstanding. I don't know which of them has ever approached the Minister of the Territorial to ask him, please, what have you done with that money? Because you have a right as a Cameroonian to go there. You don't come on public TV and questioning the administration of affairs without having had the opportunity of approaching the person who's in charge.
You were the one who dragged this to the public attention. You were not. If you have your gathering in CPDM, nobody will know. If it's you who come on the TV and say, you know what, we are
Barrister, should we expect you? Please, Mr. Ndifo, should we expect some accountability perhaps after the elections?
That's how we're going to run this country. Talking anyhow. I'm talking. Your turn will come. Please be patient. What I'm saying is that to be an accountant, money which is being deposited somewhere, you have to be a participant. You are not a participant. You never approach the authorities who are in charge of that money, but you want to question them on public TV. That's not the way you have to run the country. That notwithstanding, you see, what has been done so far is enormous with that money. You might not even understand, but you should understand that there's a good number of the population, and especially the population of the English-speaking zones, who refuse to come forward for that help. But those who came forward have been helped, and there are so many of them. There are so many of them. If you want to know, go to the proper authorities. Don't come on TV.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Apolide. You want to?
Yes, let me just react briefly. I just wish to tell my friend of the CPDM not to get very upset because we are in a political debate, and you should expect that in a political debate we will always go after the ruling party. Just to come back to the fact that when you say that those people who put in the money, that money is public fund to the best of my knowledge, and any money that is public fund is open to public scrutiny. And of course, the one place where we have this public scrutiny is on the media. This is just one place. There are several other avenues that we could use to scrutinize how this money is used.
Let's come back to Mr. Apolide. We invited you as the president of the Cameroon Youth Patriotism. That is a political party you created in 2008. You didn't tell us you are supporting any candidates for as far as these elections is concerned. The question we're asking you is, public funds was contributed 12 billion from CFA to assist internally displaced persons. Are you concerned about the fact that there have been no accountability as far as the use of this money is concerned?
First of all, I have to say to Mrs. Donkey that she's unmature in debate politics. So what I have to say is that my political party, many years, I've been working very hard to promote patriotism, peace in the nation. Be not be a candidate doesn't mean that I'm not have. I declare my candidature behind His Excellency Pobia. We that he was ruling. I have to say, I did not declare to be on election Why? Because when I found the opposition, our nation, we start going to northwest and southwest.
Let's come back to the question. Let's come back to the question.
Yes.
Before you come back to the question, the president, the minister of territorial administration has not given accountability of the money contributed. What is your take on that?
You know, I'm not here to involve myself in the mismanagement of the financial in the ministry.
Your party is not concerned about mismanagement of state funds?
Exactly. Because why? Because no, not in the country. This is a fund that they seem to have the people.
They are in the country.
Exactly.
Cameroon.
Exactly. That's
Your
why I'm
party is
saying
not
that.
concerned about the fact that they are mismanaging.
That's why I'm saying that
there is
they are
no
not
accountability about money contributed to assist.
No, I'm saying that we are not there to know what is happening there. But I think Atanga they have more experience and more knowledge to rule all those things. You cannot judge him, word him in the end, and ask him what they have done in the morning.
When you talk about the end, which time are you referring to?
Because I've been doing many things that I saw in TV, national TV, that Atanga they have worked very hard to do many support of the refugee. For example, they saw it in the southwest.
Which locality in the southwest?
Please,
I'm not here to say which locality Atanga they spend all the money to help the people in the refugee camp.
Please, we
know how many have been spending from
please just maintain some calm.
Yes,
Retain that there have been no accountability as for now about how the money.
We are not here to know the accountability now. We are saying that they have been doing many things that
please, you have to maintain some calm so that we go orderly. Pastor Chris, let's find out from you. Many opposition politicians or political parties for this campaign say President Paul Biya, who is the candidate of the CPDM, have taken most of the public speech or space to post his posters, and the opposition has no space to post their own posters around the towns and the cities in the country.
This problem of inequality is even on this panel, because you can see two candidates standing for
two opposition when you are trying
panelists.
Two panelists.
Please, step in the program, please.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that even here, as we're talking, that inequality is even real here now. Because
you are a man of God. You have to say the truth.
Please, you are interrupting the program. Let's be calm, please. Let's be calm.
And my brother, I think I would like to get his name.
Mr. Ken Menyapolinia.
Mr. Ken Menyapolinia.
Yeah, Ken Menyapolinia. Yes, sir.
And he is also
a leader of political party.
He's also standing for President Paul Biya, meaning that here we have two candidates, which it would have been good if you give Barrister Julius the floor, the opportunity to talk. Why? When he talks, if you want to go around again, maybe you can leave him and give the next.
I'm the presenter. I know how I run the program. Just go ahead and answer the question.
Okay, what I want to say is that concerning you asked which
the posters.
The posters. Yeah, if you go out there, you will see that the space have been taken by CPTM. Because they don't want the ground to be level, the political ground to be level, so that candidates can take their own fair share of the opportunities and communicate to the people. And that is what they have done. Even when it comes to the disbursement of that fund of 15 million, you see that it was intentionally worked out in order to disfavor the other candidates. So they are afraid, they are intimidated. You know, this time around, Cameroonians have decided to sanction the CPDM party, and they are intimidated. They know what is happening, so they are trying to make things unequal, so that the other candidates may not have the full capacity to make use of what is available and communicate to the people. That's why they have taken all the billboards. For instance, if you go to some agencies to get a billboard, you will not get it again because CPDM has taken over, and even the space around the roads, they have back their posters everywhere. We were told that campaigns were to start on, that was last Saturday, right?
22nd of September.
But on Friday, these guys were already pasting posters everywhere. That is to tell you how things are balanced for all the other candidates. So it is, I told you, they are skillful manipulators. They know how to manipulate and disfavor other people. But I thank God because Cameroonians have been able, they have come to the knowledge of the fact that the time has come for change and they will not succumb to any form of manipulation.
Thank you very much. Let me, please Please just maintain some calm. Yes, Barrister Michel Ndoki, let me just ask you this question as a lawyer first, before you answer as a politician. What does the law say about using public space during campaigns to post posters?
The law says that a LICAM should tell the candidates where to post their posters. And once that's done, the space available should be used by all, equally by all the candidates. That's what the law says. Ethics and the values of sincerity and honesty and the values of democracy that we share and that we should uphold wants that, or commands that, even if there was no law, and there is, all the candidates behave fairly. What we received, while all the candidates receive as support from the government to organize the campaign, is to help Cameroonians have the same level of information about all the incumbents and judge them fairly. That's the reason why even in the polling station they will tell you you cannot have more ballots of this candidate than for the other. So equality is essential to enable the people to choose among people who are equals. What CPDM is doing with taxpayers' money is to breach that balance in order to favor the current president of the republic. That is the reason why in Madagascar, the president of the republic has to step down before putting in his candidature. And I will personally, as a lawyer, advocate for that kind of change in the law in Cameroon, so that this kind of cheating and manipulation and misuse of honest Cameroonians' money does not happen again. We need to put all the candidates on the same platform, because that is the way you can say who is the best. The best might not be the one who is more experienced. He might be a visionnaire. Amadou Ahidjo was not experienced when he became the president of the republic. Yet, he had to become a president and do his job to the best of his capacity. That is the same for young Paul Biya at the time in 1982. He was 32. He didn't have any experience. He became a president, and we trusted him as a president because we wanted change. Now, what do we have? We have someone who is forcing his candidature into the throat of Cameroonians and forcing us to have imbalanced debate like what we have now. Somebody coming to us and telling us that in the course of a program he will tell us who he's standing for, knowing that he has a candidate, an official representative of the same candidate on the same table. What I have to say on the account of CRM is that we think you cannot have that. And because we think you cannot have that, we will not have that. I will leave it to you to continue with that imbalanced debate. We cannot participate in that. We'll see you on the 7th of October.
Barrister, please, let me just correct something there, Barrister. We invited Mr. Apollinaire as an independent candidate of the Cameroon Youth Patriotism, not as a supporter of the militant or a supporter of the CRM party.
What he is in reality.
Barrister,
and if you're not sending him out, then you are sending me out.
Please,
They're not Democrats. No, please, you want to really allow us to go. It's good for us.
Please, Barrister.
It's good for us.
This is a SCF.
Please, Barrister.
Those are two different political parties.
Please,
Those are two different political parties.
To resolve this issue, we shall be back.
You keep
Let's take a little break.
joining the SDF and the SMRC as if they are one candidate. Are they one candidate?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying with us. We understand it's a political debate and sometimes.
No, come on.
Very
We have to talk
Thank you
on the
so much.
phone.
Let's continue. We are talking about the posting of posters.
You want to show how the angry can be angry. 2 times angry.
Please, let's come here. We are talking about posting of posters. Are you concerned about the fact that your candidates have taken all the billboards in the cities and the equally villages to post these posters?
First of all, that is not true that we've taken all the billboards. And secondly, we are now talking about political maturity. We were ready 4 months ago for presidential elections. So it's not today that our plans have been put in place. You should understand that Elekam is supposed to determine its billboards whether equality is supposed to reign. If Elekam doesn't do his job, they are supposed to know what to do. I'm not talking about political maturity. The only party that understands this game better to me is SDF because they've been there for some time. Because you see, SDF too has been very ready. But you see, we will not stand and be talking about others instead of selling ourselves. Every time you don't want to talk about others, talk about others. I understand my colleague. It's not his first political party. I'm waiting for her in CPDM. She will come. The time I know her, she will come. She likes order and well organized things. When once she realizes that where she is not organized, she will come to CPDM. But that notwithstanding, if I want to put a billboard on my wall in my house, whose problem is it? It's nobody's problem. It's my problem. It's my house. If CPDM does that and nobody complains, they are doing what is supposed to be regular.
Now, Barrister Julius, besides being a militant of the CPDM party, you are equally a lawyer. Barrister Ndoki earlier explained what the law says about using billboard during campaigns.
No.
Do you think your party is respecting that particular law?
As of date, Elekam has not determined its billboards. Elekam billboards are different from the billboards we are using. Those are paid for. It's not for free. Elekam is supposed to determine its billboards and space. There will be equality. But when once we go out of it to pay for ours, it's not forbidden. I have my wall in my house. I want to put my poster. What is your problem with it? If you think that, because the law, this same law says, if you think that there's something wrong, you should know what to do. I don't want to teach anybody here.
Barrister just mentioned something that the Social Democratic Front is all in the field and they understand the game. It means you are not concerned about the space taken by the CPDM party?
Definitely not. We are always concerned. I think what Barrister is saying is that the SDF has been going through this pain of injustice for quite some time, and they may understand better and become used to. But we are not used to it. We are still crying. We are still complaining about it. But I think that, like he said, our candidate already understood that kind of inequality and injustice in the CPDM. And what my candidate is doing is that my candidate is going to the people to feel the pains they are feeling and to tell them what program he has to solve those problems they are facing. The problem of healthcare. He has been in the field in most of these places in the rural areas, like I said earlier, and it has been very difficult. He has seen people who are unable to feed themselves. He has seen people who are unable to take care of their medical facilities, and he is proposing his message of a universal health care that is going to be it is actually resonating with this electorate on the field.
Pastor Chris, the CRM party fight a complaint. Lekam complaining about this issue of billboards, but unfortunately, the Lekam has not mentioned any official word as far as the use of billboards is concerned.
Okay, I think that, you know, the fear of so many Cameroonians before has been, we've always thought that, we've always seen that somehow Lekam, which is supposed to manage elections in this country, is somehow partisan. It was alert and it came out, we all saw it, that the member of the Constitutional Court, who is also part of those engineering election, had to file in signed in a motion of support to the president.
Member of the Constitutional Council.
And most of those who are leading Elekam are core members of the CPTM. So we have not yet, we are still, our eyes are open to make sure that nothing happens with our votes. We don't, if I tell you that we fully trust Elekam, that would be a lie. We don't trust them 100%. That's why we must make sure that when we cast our votes, we must secure the votes. If they have done nothing, it's because their hands are tied. What do you expect them to do? if the party of
Maurice Kamto, MRC party.
yeah, if he has kind of filed a complaint and they have done nothing about it, it's because they really cannot do anything about it. Their hands, to me, are tied. There's nothing they can do. Why? Because they have somehow a boss who is giving them instructions behind maybe the veil.
Mr. Michel Ndoki, the fact that Elekam has not mentioned anything as far as that is concerned, your political party is going to take other steps, or we're still at that level?
There are two things that we need to distinguish here. First of all, yes, it is clear and crystal clear to everyone, this is cheating. The reason why it is cheating is obvious. This government is afraid. The candidate who is currently the President of the Republic is afraid to lose the seat. That means that whether he loses that seat or not is down to you. That is the reason why he needs that to occupy the space, the allowed space, the not allowed space. My learned senior counsel, Barrister Achu, said earlier that we CPDM have been ready for 4 months, and it is very interesting because the decree that was signed to announce that the election will be organized on the 7th of October was signed on the 9th of July. That is less than 3 months ago. This is to tell you how fair and transparent the elections are. That one of them was already ready 1 month before he announced to the country, that is including to you, that we are going to for elections. The fact that Elekam has not announced publicly what are the spaces provided is done on purpose. Their hands are tied, and I sympathize and I really feel for them. You remember that a couple of weeks ago they went on strike because they were not paid. So I think people who work in the Elekam are fellow Cameroonians, and I think some of them are listening at the moment. And I want to tell them that we still have a chance. We, as political parties who have less means, we have 15 million when the ruling party publishes prospectuses only for 1 billion. We are given 15 million for the whole campaign in the whole of Cameroon, and we refuse that amount of money because even if we don't have as many prospectuses, even if we are not as visible, 2011 and it was different from 2018. In 2018, you are there. You can hear us, you can see us, you can judge. Question at hand is not at all who is visible or not. Question at hand is who do we want for our president? Who is the best candidate? That is the call you are making. You are making it no matter who is visible, who has the best slogan. We'll come back to because you are concerned about the future and the building of this nation. And it is down to you and nobody else.
We'll be coming back to talk more about the slogans you just mentioned there, but let's find out from you. We're talking about the president of the country, who is equally the president of the CPDM party, that have taken more of the billboards around the country to post his posters. Is that disturbing you as a president of a political party?
First of all, I'm very sorry about the unmature.
Please, you can't describe a case like that. You don't describe a case like that.
What I'm saying is that, not to give me many minutes to speak, I think that is an injustice.
Please, I remain the presenter here. I give you the minutes equally, so there's no issue about that.
Thank you. So what I'm saying to you is that the CPDM that you are saying, they have the potentiality to do the campaign that people that have the financial support. If the opposition is not prepared to have the financial support, how do you think that they can have the possibility to do what the CPDM can do when they don't have a financial stability.
But she just explained it's against the law stated on how to post these posters during campaigns.
No, it was the law was. It was not to say that.
It means the CPD is not respecting the law.
No, the CPD respecting the law. Please don't. When you are saying not respect the law, I don't know how you can say like that. When
their actions on the field contradicts from what the law says.
But she's saying what she thinks.
No,
she don't say what the law says.
She's saying what the law says.
Yeah?
She's saying what the law says.
The what?
That Elecam should tell you where to post your billboards, and you should not do it outside.
I saw Joshua, I saw Kabali be put a picture everywhere. I saw everywhere. I saw. What is the problem that CPD doing something that it can be a problem? This is something on my side. Politics that people have been talking here.
You see, I understand.
Mr. Achu, let me come to the
sorry, sir. When we are talking about politics, we are talking about mature politics, not about how a CPT have been doing these things. You have been here 3 opposition leaders here standing here, Mr. Journalist Dominic. Be true to what I'm saying to you. You have a person which is a pastor opposition against the CPDM here. There are 3.
No.
I'm an individual. I'm an independent. No. I'm an independent candidate. One person.
No, you are not.
But you have been saying that you are proving that you are
CPDM is a candidate on its own. SRC is a candidate.
Opposition here.
No.
I've been saying that statue, the organizing message on the posters of their candidates, Paul Biya, is the force of experience. Can you give us details about that particular phrase?
Yeah, we will talk about legality first. Let me clarify something. Elecam is supposed to determine space for political parties. It doesn't mean this other space, which is not Elecam space, can be used by any political party. When I say we are prepared for elections, because CBN is a well-structured party. We are the only party that has published the list of its representatives for elections ever since. So we will be ready. To them, readiness means readiness means some other thing. Readiness means we plan, because everybody knew that the election in 2019. 2018, we plan for it.
See?
We plan for it. And we prepare ourselves, prepare long before. So when they see us do things, they are shocked. But that notwithstanding, we have messages that we posted on those billboards. The first thing is we talk about the interesting part of it all is that we're the most experienced among all the candidates when it comes to ruling the country. I would like to say the power of experience. Using force is more communicative and more communicative and gives room for us to talk about something.
Exactly.
But I would like to say the power of experience, and we are the most experienced to handle situations, especially in Cameroon, which is like this, which is very precarious. Not anything can happen in this country now, and it's only the most experienced person that can handle it. I've just showed you a small example. When these other parties have a little skirmish, they take it on who? On the experienced person. Oh, you are the one. You are the police. You are the DO. You are the SDO. Is that how they are going to run the country when they win?
Barrister, how do you defend? How do you defend?
I want to show you. There's no talk about experience.
Let me ask you the question: how do you defend this experience when Cameroon, after 36 years in power, the country is at war?
Can I speak?
No.
Please.
When you say country is war, what do you mean?
I mean, the northwest and the southwest, there's total war in the east region, in the far north region. The country, 4 regions have been paralyzed because of insecurity.
That's
is
just
that a demonstration of experience?
No, come on. First of all, the war that we have has been provoked by people who are not Cameroonians, right? First and foremost.
Wow. No, you are not talking. You're not representing any candidate. We are interested in the view of
Can you allow me to learn? Boko Haram came from Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
The insecurity in the east came from Central African Republic. And when we talk about the English-speaking zones, let's put the things in the right perspectives. When the president, the commander-in-chief of the army, came to Cameroon and realized that 40 of his soldiers were killed, he declared war on terrorists. What happened? A group of guys came up and said, no, we are the ones, we are secessionists. Afterwards, they became Ambazonia. After that, they became Southern Cameroonians Ambazonia. After that, they became restorationists. President Biya never mentioned the name of any Cameroonian when he was declaring war on those terrorists that killed his soldiers. As a commander-in-chief, it's normal that when you want to kill their soldiers, you react. You will not sit back and watch those who kill their soldiers. That notwithstanding, those who came up, they say, well, we have our country, they want us to go back to pre-1961. That is their opinion. But the problem is that they started, it now became an armed conflict whereby who bears the brunt? Even you and me. Most of us English-speaking Cameroonians living east of the Bongo, we are living in a comfort zone. But those living west of the Bongo are in dire straits because that effort, that war that was declared, which is a hide-and-seek type of war, done by the so-called Amazonians, South Cameroon, or whatever, or restoration is a hide-and-seek war whereby you don't know who is the opponent. A normal Cameroonian army cannot determine who is the opponent.
They can determine who to shoot.
Yes. Mr. Ndifa will have expected that.
Let me finish. So what happens? What are the consequences? It is the local population that feels the brunt. And that is why there's mass exodus to leave where the war-torn areas, to move to East Cameroon. The shocking thing is that they said East Cameroonians were the ones organizing the administration that was colonizing that area. But all of them are moving to the same East Cameroon. That means that the population is not in accordance with what is going on. And that means that there's a fundamental issue, which is a security issue. Because a regular army cannot be fighting an army that has no identity, no central command, no possibility of identification. So it makes the population vulnerable. And that was going on and it creates insecurity. And that's what the problem is.
Mr. Ndifa of the Social Democratic Front, many people have expected that after 36 years in power, with the wealth of experience, as the CPDM party call it, the country would not have been at war.
You see, it's amazing how Barrister was unable to tell us in concrete terms what this force of experience is all about. We were expecting to hear him tell us what the experience that they have given Cameroonians in 36 years. And I leave that question to the Cameroonian people to be able to determine if this is the kind of experience that we want to have in the next 7 years moving forward. Is it the experience where a situation like that in the northwest and southwest we're talking about, it's solved by intimidation, by bullying, a situation where Barrister just made mention of a very trying, funny statement here that they don't know. So therefore they don't know who their enemy is, and they get into that territory and they kill anybody they find along their way because they don't know who their enemy is. And that is why we said this particular government has failed woefully. The situation in the northwest and southwest is a tacit failure of leadership. And Cameroonians should know better. They should know that this government is not able to be able to handle that situation, and therefore should quit and let another government, a government of Joshua Osiri, where he intends to come in and not intimidate people, but to call the people in the English-speaking part of Cameroon, they sit on a round table and have a national dialogue on the issues affecting these two regions, and based on the form of the state. It is funny how this government says that they cannot talk about the form of the state, and that same form of the state is what they tampered with in 1972. In 1972, they tampered with the form of the state, violating the 1972 constitution. Joshua Osiri is offering another alternative, and this alternative is that they have a plan, a whole program of reconstructing the villages that were burnt by the experienced administration in its way of solving the problem. Please, let me just come to the end. They were burnt, and the individuals who have been sent out of their communities, and they brag about it, that they have been sent out of their community and they are moving to the French-speaking areas. That is not something a government that say has a force of experience should be proud about. We should be disturbed that people are moving away from a particular locality to go and settle somewhere else. That is displaced people. Okay. And therefore, Joshua Osiri is going to ensure that these displaced communities, when we are talking about experience, we should be able to evaluate what kind of experience we are talking about.
The CPDM party is counting of experience after 36 years. Your candidate, Prophet Franklin Difo Afangwe, is going in for the very first time. How do you intend to measure, or how does he intend to measure with the candidates that have been there for 36 years?
The CPDM experience of 36 years is an experience that you can describe it as 36 years of lies telling to Cameroonians. My candidate is a God-fearing man, Prophet Franklin Defoe. He's a man who fears God, and he's a man that God has sent to rescue this nation from the grip of a 36 years old regime that has done us not only any good. Because when you look at the suffering on ground, you will know that they have failed. Looking at the war, because when I heard Barrister Julius saying that he came back and declared war against some people for killing the military, I can call this war a dirty war. You see, one thing which people don't understand is that the population of the Northwest and Southwest are with those guys they call secessionists. I can tell you honestly.
Including yourself.
You see, why? Because when you get to the field, you can feel things for yourself when you're honest. I'm sure that, I don't know, but I'm sure that even Barrister Julius, who is talking here, cannot comfortably go to his village without security. You understand?
Yes.
Why? Because the thing is so rampant everywhere. If you get to like a place like Bamenda, and maybe you want to talk and show some soft spot for the military, I can tell you that you get the people reaction will tell you that they were not for the military. You know, the war, unlike the war against Boko Haram, the population was supporting the military because they needed the population to be telling them how this, the position of the enemy. But it's not the case. When the people see the military, they run away. So the 36 years of what they call force of experience is 36 years of lies telling, and this is what has destroyed this nation. We need a man whom God has touched his heart. Because what I have seen in this nation is that we have better heads, but we don't have better hearts. Look at a learned barrister, like Barrister Julius Ashu. This is a man that, with all what he has in his mind, he could have canalized it to make Cameroon a Garden of Eden. But look at how they are now praise singers of the 86 years old President Bobia, who should have retired. You see how these things have turned out in this country. Intellectuals in this country, they are the ones whom history will judge and condemn, because these people have used the knowledge that God gave them the opportunity to get, and they've used it to be manipulating the population and supporting what is not supposed to be supported. I think my candidate will bring a change in this country. So Cameroonians need to trust him and give him their vote, because he's a man, I can call him, he's a game changer. He will change this nation if given an opportunity.
Thank you. Barrister Michel Ndoki, your political party came in place, that was in 2012, for less than 6 years now. But we have seen the battle on the field, always opposed by the CPDM party. Does it mean for less than 6 years, your political party is challenging that of experience of over 36 years?
I think Mr. Achu will be best pleased to answer that question. But I think this is reminding me, I was 18 or slightly less than 18 in 1992. And I remember at that time, SDF was a very young party. And you saw what SDF did. The enthusiasm of the people, because they were hungry for change. And it's exactly what is happening today. The thing today is, yes, we have to go back to it again. 1960, then 1961, we fought, and a lot of lives were taken for the good of this country. Some people sat in Fumban and agreed on the future of the nation, and one part cheated. We had to go back to it in the 80s. Amadou Ahidjo left because there was tension in the country. We tend to forget. Because people, Cameroonians, had been cheated. He left us with Paul Biya, tripartite conversations, etc., etc. Again, we sat down because we are brothers and sisters. We are children of the same mother, Cameroon. We sat again and we agreed on something. And Paul Biya cheated. This led us to the 90s.
Why cheated? Paul Biya cheated where?
Please.
Now what you were Paul Biya cheated?
Please.
And then 90s went back to the same struggle. And we had to remind the President of the Republic of his commitment to the nation. That's where we had multipartism. And let me correct something, sir. Because you pretend you are head of a political party, you know the difference between being head of a political party and being opposition. Opposition is a general word for everyone who is not sharing the same view
ideology,
as the same view as the ruling party on how to go about the building or the affairs of the country.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that when you have 9 candidates, you have 1 against 8. That is wrong. And you should know better if you had dared enough to become a candidate yourself.
Yeah.
You will know the difference between you being a president and Paul Biya being a president, because you can't afford to be a candidate. Doesn't mean our candidates are one person.
They are failures.
They are not.
They are failures.
They are not.
I'll come to you.
They are failures. They are
Maintain some calm. I'll come back to you.
You are very mature and you will be in the position and supporting the regime in power and you call yourself a position. Is that maturity?
Mr. Ndifo, let's allow Barrister to explain her point.
There are 8, and they have 8 views on how to go about the future of this nation. At the moment, the more serious of the 8 are discussing how to bring down the number of candidates to less, so that it makes it easier for Cameroonians as a people to organize alternance, change, and to forget about this regime and its failures. So yes, we have to do it all again. We are in 2018 and we had 2008 and we had the 90s and we had the 60s, and we still have Cameroon and we still have this country to build. And we have to resolve our differences. And this is what this election is about. For the first time, you are millions to be interested, and you have selected spontaneously 4 candidates that retain your attention on their seriousness and things like that. Now, next step is next week. You have to make a call. And the reason I'm flagging that is we keep hearing the same thing. If you guys don't come up with only 1 candidate, then we might as well forget about the vote. Forgetting about the vote is forgetting about your lives, and that nobody can forget. We need to solve the crisis. We need to put the bloodshed to an end. And this is starting with changing the leader of this country. But it's just one step. Once we've resolved the crisis, the war, and stopped the war in Northwest and Southwest, once we've resolved the issues in the far north with Boko Haram, or so-called, once we've resolved the issues in the East Province, we will still have a country to run. And the president is a president for 7 years. So we need to choose not only someone who can resolve a crisis, and because what they say about the crisis, but somebody who can both resolve the crisis and put our country into order, send the Cameroonians out there to work hard, create companies, create wealth, and let us become a wealthy and prosperous country. This is what Maurice Kamto is putting, has been working during the past 6 years to design a program that is clear, precise, and realistic about what we're going to do and how we're going to
Thank you, Michelle. Let me find out from you, Mr. Kemye. We are talking about experience after 36 years. What are some of the concrete examples you can point out that demonstrate this experience of the candidate of the CPDM party?
First of all, you are a brilliant talent journalist. That I have to say it.
Thank you. Let's
start.
let's get to the question. What are some of the key examples you can bring out that demonstrate 36 years of experience?
First of all, I have to come about this crisis in Southwest and Northwest. You know, this part of the country, you have a mixed up from Western, from the Northern, from the South, from the Eastern. They are living together, brought up. Which means that we don't know exactly who is an Anglophone. Coming back in 1961, that I've been saying this youth is standing here, speak about politics without knowing. The problem of colonialism cannot make us fighting and discussing something that cannot be brought forward. Because Anglophone issue is something that we have been, I can just qualify social problem. Social problem that the head of the state are always trying. His Excellency Paul Biya have been trying to bring
you cannot talk
the
about
solution
things,
that
that's what we
let me
agree.
speak. We will
not have speaking again on this.
Let me speak, please. When he was speaking, this is a democracy.
About Paul Biya.
He asked me the point of he was asking about 36 years.
Please, I'm asking.
He's a journalist. He's a professional journalist.
Go ahead.
He's a professional journalist. This 36 years that I wanted to say it before she stopped me, interrupt me. This is always I'm saying on mature.
Please just answer the question first. Let's go ahead.
My junior brother and sisters standing here, my former colleague politician. The head of the state is His Excellency Paul Biya. In 36 years, I've been doing some great changes. First, I found out about peace in our nation that I've been starting a long time. They have been making many projects. I cannot mention Lokbanga, many things. I cannot the highway again from Kribi, from Yaoundé to Douala. Where I want to start, you know, during the 36 years, in 1996, we started to have a crisis. Economic crisis was coming in our nation. After 1919, it was the devaluation of franc CFA having a problem. That you cannot say that His Excellency Paul Biya did not do something for our nation. Okay. We have been trying, but the mismanagement of our resources, the mismanagement of the country for some Cameroonians, it's not saying that he's responsible for most of the things that I'm doing on the nation. We have to qualify the responsibility for each person in our nation. Paul Biya is not a person, but I'm thinking that given the chances to be the 7 years, I think is to make the new experience that he has been already starting that to bring Cameroonian the new development, because he have many projects for the Cameroonian. And after
all right, Mr. Ndifo of the Social Democratic Front,
stopping me without clarifying, because most of these people have been speaking more than
the Social Democratic Front. The key phrase of your candidate is the strength of our diversity. Can you give us an explanation on that?
Thank you very much. Our candidate talk about the strength of our diversity, because our candidate believe that as Cameroonians, every one of us, we are first Cameroonians, and then we are different in our different ways. We are Anglophones, we are Francophones, we are Betis, we are Bamilikes, we are Bayangis, we are Bamenda, and all of that. And so our candidate wishes to use this diversity, which is our strength, in order to build a nation within it. Because what we have seen in this regime that it is that he said the regime exploits the diversity to its own advantage and keep us apart. Because if we are facing what we are facing today in the English-speaking part of Cameroon, that is because this government has divided Cameroon between Anglophones and Francophones and treats some people as better Cameroonians and others as less Cameroonians.
Also, to sit quiet and listen to him explain.
And so that is where our candidate comes in here. Our candidate wants to see Cameroonians as Cameroonians and not as Anglophones and Francophones, or as Bamilekes, Betis, or whatever, but see them as Cameroon and exploit that differences that they have for the interest of the country. Use the differences they have, the talents in terms of talent, the differences in terms of culture, the differences in terms of skills and all of that, and bring all of that together to build this nation.
Barrister, I will come back to you when let's start the issue of observers in the country. But let me come to you.
They talk to me personally. They actually
I'll come
question
back to you.
let me land on it.
Pastor, what is the slogan of your candidates as far as this campaign is concerned? And what does it signify?
The change is now.
Okay.
Yeah, and the change is now is talking about action. We need to take the action and bring and create the change we want now. It's not after. It's a slogan that mobilizes Cameroonians to wake up and take steps that will bring changes in the nation. Because for many years they have been in captivity. And for you to come out of captivity, you need to wake up and take action. And if Cameroonians, this is a very decisive period in the history of Cameroon, and this is the time for us to take the right action. And I want to tell the people the right action will be to give Prophet Frank Ndifo the vote come October 7. Okay, Barrister Michel Ndoki, on several occasions we have seen your candidates with a ball during campaigns. What particular significance does he have?
It means we are going to strike a goal. Okay. Because we have a target, and as I said earlier,
he's the goal scorer.
Is the goal scorer, but that's not the slogan.
Yes,
the slogan is another Cameroon is possible.
Okay.
The link between the two, of course, you have this law for football and performance, is that over and above what we have currently as issues, we can create a wealthy country. This the current government has trained us to think that what we have today is the best. That is a small elite of people swallowing all the other Cameroonians' energy. And we are about saying that another Cameroon is possible. They're talking to us about the force of experience, and I'm quoting, it's not the power, but it's the force of experience. And in French, it says la force de l'expérience. And somebody, because you know, Cameroonians are really talented and hardworking, somebody pulled out the announcement and slogan of Omar Bongo, late Omar Bongo, when he was still young. And his slogan was La Force de l'Expérience, the power of experience. So this is to tell you that that's all that the current president has to offer. A book that is dated 1987, and a slogan, new, that is even older. We have a choice. Okay. And we can dream another country. And CRM is about what this country could look like in the coming future. What kind of country we could build if we gave ourselves a chance.
We are less than 10 minutes to the end of the program. We will permit Barrister to answer. Is it true that the President of the Republic copy the slogan of Omar Bongo? This campaign.
The first thing is that I will tell my learned colleague that Rasta that she puts on her hair dates in the 18th century, 16th century.
From Bomale.
And they're still using it today.
Yes.
That's notwithstanding. So what is ever old is still new.
Yes.
The old and the new, the pastor will tell you there's no difference. But now I'm asking, there's something that you should understand, that what poverty has brought to this country. If there was poverty liberalized the religious sector, this guy will not be talking here as a pastor.
Please.
And let me ask you something. Where do they get their salary? Is it not from the public? Have they ever published accounts any day?
No, sir.
Or the money received? Finish. That's what poverty has brought this country, give liberty to speak until he can even become a presidential candidate.
Yes.
Don't forget something. In 1992,
Is it Pobia?
in 1992, Professor Campto, in 1992, Professor Campto supported SDF.
People died.
He needs your help to be able to speak now.
Professor Campto supported SDF in 1992.
Let's permit Barrister Ashu Julius to
He supported SDF in 1992 when he realized that he couldn't get what he wants from there, whatever from there. He came back to the CPDM and he became a minister. Okay, he has not left and created his own party. And he's fighting to see how he can emerge politically. It's a good fight. That is the type of spirit we inculcate into Cameroonians. Learn to be yourself. Do your own thing. But once you feel that, the day he will still realize that CRM is not the same, or whatever, cannot work the way he wants, we will still welcome him back to CPDM, because the grandmother never refuses any child. But you understand that in the same light, my learned counsel, my learned colleague who is on the other side, was in another party here. She just barely left the other party and moved over. As I say, we are waiting for her. She will continue.
Barrister Achu, are you concerned of the fact that the European Union have decided not to send observers during the October 7 election this year?
The thing is that you don't even understand the thing. You let everybody understand how those things work. We are supposed to pay for it. Are we ready to pay for it? Do you know how much the bill? The bill is more than 10 billion. Do you want us to be paying for the European Union to come and pay their bills? Those things are paid for.
Barrister, in 1992, 1997, 2004, 2011, Cameroon was able to get the European Union come into the country to observe election. What is happening this year?
No, but you know, the financial situation doesn't permit it any longer. And we have to adjust accordingly. Exactly. If you want to tell me that if your station is not the same the same today as I used to be. So you see, when once with the experience, you have to know how to manage the little we have.
Of course, and it's becoming little and little.
You see, let me just briefly say something.
I will not say one thing.
Let me briefly say some concluding word. Yes, it is amazing how we are seeing how the force of experience is working. You see, the graph of the experience we are seeing is actually deteriorating. It's actually going down and down and down. This country is worse off than it was when Bia took over. And everybody knows that. Even Barrister Achu sitting here knows that. And by the time we leave the studio, he's going to confess to me that this country is worse off than it was when Bia took over. I will take this opportunity, if you permit, to announce that our candidate Joshua Osei will be in Kribi on Thursday and also will be in Yaoundé on Friday, and will conclude in a grand rally here in Douala on Saturday.
Yes, we permit all the representatives of political parties to announce the program of their candidates. I will give you the chance to speak. Pastor, let me find out.
Whenever I speak, they always want to. Don't allow me to end. Why?
Is it discrediting the electoral process we're having?
You don't want me to learn.
As a matter of fact, I want to comment on what Barrister Achu just said. He said, if it wasn't for the president, I would not be sitting here and talking as a pastor, and my candidate would not be finding as a presidential candidate. I want to say that this freedom we are enjoying today was not given by your candidates. It was gotten by force. People died for this freedom. So it wasn't given, it was taken. So when you sit and say that we are enjoying that, we're talking freely because
you're talking about
you never live when Nigeria was alive. You are not born when Nigeria was alive. You just can't understand. You just can't understand. We were not born then.
Was there. Where people were ready to pay the price to get what we're getting today. So it was,
and the salary from
gotten.
Who pays your salary?
Please, Barrister.
No,
it was disturbing me too.
Talking about.
I want sure I can disturb
when you look at the church very well, it's only in Cameroon here that we have a regime that is afraid of pastors, of men of God, because many of these people, the people who don't like the truth, don't like light.
Who pays their salary?
Because when light comes into a place, darkness is in trouble.
Who pays their salary?
You see, like I'm sure that just the way he's facing me and somehow he's uncomfortable. That's why he's making such statement.
You don't face me. If the Bible is already, you can't beat me to it.
I'm making him to be talking like this. What I want to say is that, as a matter of fact, if you look at churches in different countries, the image about churches is so wonderful. In Nigeria, the government of Nigeria support pastors and churches to go to Israel. I've been to Nigeria on several occasions. And then when he says who pays the salary, do you know how much we do to Cameroonians? You know how much peace we sow in the hearts of Cameroonians?
And they pay you for it in cash.
Do you know how much pastors are
Jesus
doing
paid
for
in
this country? Don't look at pastors, because you as a matter of fact, we serve people. You get it. Oh, People can sow seeds. Even you can sow seeds. It's a principle from the Bible. If you understand the Bible, you will not even mock at it because it's a scriptural principle.
Okay.
That when you sow seeds, it provokes a blessing to you.
But
It's blessed to give than to receive. Even Bob Marley sang it, that blessed are the hands that give it and the ones that take it. So when we talk about giving,
I don't give. What do you give?
We give.
Take.
We give. That's why we are blessed, because when you give, it will come back to you.
Yes,
in
Barrister,
one way or the other.
let's find out what is a political party doing as far as knowing observers that are coming into the
did not
country.
even answer my question.
Yes,
So
you have
please
to answer now.
Let me answer the question. What about the problem is that they have managed the country poorly, and as such, they have made this country a country of bankruptcy. The government is bankrupt because a lot of money is being used to fight this war that is going on. So their coffers are empty. That's why they will come up with solidarity fund in order to grab some money, and they don't have money, and they are often selfish because most of them who have money have put them in Swiss banks, and Cameroonians are suffering because most of those who have stolen money,
I'm coming back
most
to
of those who have stolen our money,
unfair.
the money is not here. The money is in Swiss, and Cameroonians are suffering, so they don't have money. That's why they cannot bring in the European Union.
Okay, Pastor, you just end by giving us maybe the program of your candidates. Where is it moving
My
to?
candidate right now is in Yaoundé. He's doing a great work in Yaoundé and talking to the people. And I believe that the population of Yaoundé, they are out because everywhere he goes, people come out to welcome him and to get his project, his program. And tomorrow is Sunday. We shall be having a program in Stade Kasara Farm. I think it's in Kululum. That's from 2 p.m. tomorrow. So we'll be having a very wonderful meeting there where he's going to unravel a lot concerning his program for the nation. Okay.
Barrister, you comment on the observers before giving us the announcement of other campaign trips your candidate is going to take in the days ahead.
It is a bit embarrassing, I believe, that the international observers will not be taking part in this. What we think will
just
be
European Union, we know the African Union,
yes,
they are already in the country.
I think that European Union being around will be a strong sign that we are proud of our process. So as CRM, we are concerned that they want to stay away from that. We will not bother to annoy our viewers with a response to what my learned counsel is saying as an insult and saying now that we can't afford to be seen as a respectful country, but we can afford to pay 10 times that amount in air tickets or fuel for their cars. What we have, what you remember, sir, you're not representing any country, any candidate here, so don't feel insulted or
please just go straight to your point. We are running out of time.
Our candidate, Professor Kamto, will be in Yaoundé tomorrow. Okay. As you know, he's been all over the country for the past 4 weeks. He is having meetings, unlike some of us who say now that they're launching their campaign when they are visiting a town. Because what the candidate will be doing in Marwa is not launching the campaign. They said they were launching the campaign in 300 cities at the same time. He will be visiting Marwa. So we have a candidate who will be coming again to talk to our citizens tomorrow in Yaoundé. He will be back on the roads, West, Bamenda, Boya, as I said, during the weekend, hopefully in Douala at the end of next week. We will be talking about the future of this nation, not only resolving the current issues and Anglophone issues is particular and have a special place in his heart, but also once this is done, about what is the plan to create wealth and prosperity for this country. We think we have the best person who for that, not only because he is a successful professional, but also because
Okay.
he spent the longest time talking about thinking and writing and professional writing this program.
Thank you, Barrister. We have equally noticed that there have no public rally in the northwest and the south as far as campaign is concerned. Perhaps during the second week of campaigns, we'll see candidates going up there to vote.
That's what I said.
We are still expecting to see that. Akirimuna was in Limbe, though there was not a public rally. Just comment on the observers, since you are not representing any political party. What do you think of the fact that European Union is not sending observers to the country this year?
First of all, I have to say that I'm a president political party, that I decided not to campaign because I chose my leader, saying that the opposition have betrayed me in their failures, and saying to the Cameroonians that you have your knowledge to know who's good to you. If it's Paul Biya, who's another person, I think that Cameroonians should have a knowledge and wisdom to know that Paul Biya is a person to bring change in the nation. About these foreigners to come, the foreigner that was coming to control our election, I'm thinking that this foreigner is money that the government is supposed to spend. I've been safe to bring this money after the campaign, whatever.
Mr. Ntifo Richards, what is your take on the issue that observers are not coming in from the European Union, though we already have those of the African Union in the country?
It is quite disturbing, because we know that these observers gives us some degree of confidence that at least there will be some scrutiny of the way the elections will be managed. And given that they are not coming, we are disturbed, we are worried about that, and we are very concerned that as usual the CPDM will want to use a manipulative and a thievery method during this electoral period.
Okay, Mr. Barrister Chuchilos, what is the next plan of the CPDM party as far as campaign is concerned? Should we expect the president in Bamenda, Uboya?
The president will go around the country, and you have the program pretty soon. But what CPDM wants Cameroonians to understand, please remove this colonial mentality in your head. Cameroonians can do things the Cameroonian way. Full stop. Stop having a complex. Results of elections are out there, you're saying some other person is winning. If you think CPDM has won, then why do you participate? Let's leave this unnecessary contradiction. You want something and it's opposite. It's not fair.
Thank you so much, gentlemen and the lady, for accepting our invitation to be here today. It was a pretty difficult start for us, but we thank God we come to a logical end of the program this day. We are thanking you, inviting you to watch a rebroadcast of this very edition of the program tomorrow from midday to 1:30. I am Dominic Memenwa Kim on behalf of all the technicians, wishing you a nice weekend.
Thank you so much.